All right, bro. So how many properties you got so far?
Currently, right now, I have 4. I sold 2 of mine recently, but I still have 4. I'm moving from North Carolina down here to Texas. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to like get rid of some of my properties, get all that situated so that when I come down here, I can start going into properties down here. That's my whole plan, man. Using the network down here, everything that I have access to basically grow from the 4 to 6 that I had way into, you know what I'm saying, way into many more. And I'm actually looking to go into commercial real estate, so I'm trying to shift the way that I go about doing it.
That's fine. So like, for you to have 4 properties, I mean, you pretty young. You like 24. So like,
Yeah.
how old were you when you got into your first property, and how'd you go about that?
I was 22 years old. So when I was 22 years old, I did my first rehab on a property that I inherited. At that same age, when I actually went and purchased my first primary residence, which was a duplex, and I actually went to go buy a property, but it was a single family house, and I actually lost $2,000 the first time that I had went and tried to purchase a property. So that was a big learning experience for me. You know, a rule of thumb that I learned is always measure twice, cut once. You know what I'm saying? Always pencil multiple times before you go and actually execute on the deal. And for me, it was a mental thing where I actually wanted a property so bad, man, where like I was like trying to make the numbers work, you know what I'm saying? And it didn't work. So realistically, I had submitted earnest money, due diligence money, and all that, and I had lost $2,000. And a couple weeks later is actually when I found my first duplex, you know. So I went ahead, I put my offer in. Literally the next morning, it was crazy because, man, my son usually, that was when he was young, so he was on that waking up every couple hours schedule, man. And in the middle of the night, I woke up and he didn't wake up. It was a weird night, and I couldn't go back to sleep. So I just went up and I looked, and they actually had posted a duplex like a couple hours before that. And that morning, I was in there going to go see it. And that morning, I had an offer in, and the next day, it got accepted.
So when you say duplex, because like obviously we from Milwaukee, and then like now that I moved down here to Texas, I see like real estate is a little bit different in different places. Like in Milwaukee, when we think of duplex, I think of like upstairs, downstairs, like you know what I'm saying, like we used to live in. But like in Texas, those, I'm not gonna say they don't exist, but they're not common. And then I know you live in North Carolina, so like what is a duplex like for you over there? Like what's the square footage and all that like for something like that?
So it varies. It's still the same thing. I know in Milwaukee where we're from, we used to upstairs, downstairs duplexes. That's just like the neighborhood that we from. But the duplexes that we have in North Carolina are side by side. So like it'd be one unit on the left, one unit on the right. And there are very rarely, I've seen them where they're upstairs, downstairs, but usually they look like what some people would consider to be a townhome, right? But a townhome is when you have multiple homes. Like it could be up to 8, 10 homes, and they're all attached via a wall. And they all have split parcels. That's what a townhome is. They have split parcels. The thing about a duplex is it's one parcel, but it's an A and a B. You know what I'm saying? So they're still the same property. They're just separated via A and B. And actually, I had to go about doing that because the duplex that I went to purchase, they split the parcels. So you can go about joining the parcels together, and it costs like maybe $150 an attorney to do it. And it's not that big of a deal. They just communicate with the county, and the county go ahead and they go about doing whatever that they do to combine the parcel. That's actually what I had to do because I used my VA loan from when I was in the Marine Corps to purchase that property. And in order for me to purchase it as a duplex, I had to get the parcels combined, because if not, it's considered 2 separate properties, even though it's combined via a wall, just like townhomes.
Yeah.
So, but
that makes sense, damn. So, okay, so you bought a duplex. So some people, like me, for example, right? Because I know I wanted to do that. I remember I was seeing you do that, but I was a little, like, less hip to real estate and stuff like that at that time. So my thought process, the reason why I didn't want to get a duplex is because I didn't want, like, necessarily to have somebody, like, right next to me, you know what I'm saying? But obviously, like, getting into your investing journey, like, that's sometimes just, like, a sacrifice you got to make. So, like, I guess what I'm asking is explain, like, to the people that's watching, like, okay, why would you buy a duplex? Like, how does that make sense numbers wise? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. So the moral of the story with duplexes is it's a blessing and it's a curse. Like you said, some people they don't want to deal with other people. You also gonna have to manage that other side if you don't hire somebody to manage it, right? But numbers wise, it made sense to me because especially before I had an insurance increase, which was a little bit of money, but it wasn't that much. But like when I first purchased my property, my monthly expenses to live was like $300.
Damn. So like the tenant on the other side, their rent was covering your mortgage to where it was that low.
They were covering everything, bro.
So that's called like house hacking, right? Like
house hacking.
People talk about that.
Yeah, it's house hacking. And you could do that, and I try to get this to people to understand too. Like you could house hack a single family residence. You could, if you buy a house and you have multiple bedrooms, especially if you by yourself, you could live in one bedroom, get some furniture off Facebook Marketplace, somewhere like that, fill the other bedrooms up, and then rent it out. Especially if you're in any area where you have younger people, like colleges, or you have military bases, anything like that. People are willing to pay you some money to live in a bedroom. You know what I'm saying? It's still considered house hacking, right? But y'all in the same crib actually, and you handle them exactly like you would handle normal tenants. Y'all have leases. They understand that what they can do and what they can't do. You have security deposit. You have monthly revenue. You have all this exact same thing, but you just actually living in there with them. You know, and I know some people who have literally moved their bedroom into the garage, or they moved their bedroom into the living room and rented every single room.
You know, telling me to do that. Like when I bought this crib, you like, bro, you got hella bedrooms. Like you might as well just rent them out. Now, I mean, that's a play for sure, and like especially people that's looking to get into real estate, like that don't mind making that sacrifice. Like I feel like for sure, like that's a prime example of how you use like OPM, other people's money, because you leverage. I know you said a VA loan, but I mean for the other people out there, I'm sure you could give them game on like a lot of different routes they could go with lending and stuff like that. But you're just using the bank's money, and now you have a cash flowing asset, or you cut down your expenses so low to where like you can save the majority of the money you make. So that's a hack for sure. Because I know a lot of people, they always want to figure out how can I get into real estate. How can I get financing? Like what type of loans there are, you know what I'm saying? Like what type of loans do you know that are like good for people that maybe if they're not a veteran, because we got that advantage, you know what I'm saying?
For first time home buyers, bro, you got a lot of opportunities, man. You got things like FHA, you got things like NACA. There's always first time home buyers opportunities out there, and that's something that you should communicate with your realtor. Whenever you hire an agent to look for houses with you, they should be aware of the fact that you're a first-time home buyer. So they should be aware of all the opportunities that you have as a first-time home buyer. There's a lot of grants, there's a lot of, especially if you're a minority or something like that, you have a lot of opportunity to go in and buy a house, especially if you want to be a primary residence. Now, for rental property, it's a little different but if you want to go like the small multifamily route, because a single-family residence is considered from 1 to 4 units. So with a VA loan or with an FHA loan, you can buy up to 1 to 4 units. You know what I'm saying? That's all the way to a quadplex. So like realistically, and I was actually looking at quadplexes the first time that I was purchasing. The area wasn't right for me. The duplex just made more sense for me and where I was at. But you can buy from a 1 to a 4 unit, and it's the exact same principle. It's just a few more units. You know what I'm saying? So if you could figure out a way to manage all of them, which I use a software called Tenant Cloud. Tenant Cloud was like the easiest thing ever for me. You know what I'm saying? Like my tenants download the app. I got an app. Communication is all on there, payment, maintenance requests, everything is on there. So it was just easier for me, but I always recommend people to make sure that their agent is aware that, you know, I'm a first-time home buyer, what do I have available to me? You know what I'm saying? And look into FHA loans. If you're not a veteran, if you're a veteran and you don't know what a VA loan is, you have to get hit to that. The VA loan is literally what exposed me to everything. It's what got me started my real estate journey. It's what got me interested in my real estate journey, and why not take advantage of it? You know what I'm saying? Like we served, you know what I'm saying? You know, you serve, you're a veteran too, so we understand like the capabilities of a VA loan. Going into a mortgage 0 down, like I didn't have to pay anything. You know, I didn't pay anything at closing, nothing. You know what I'm saying? But I walked into paying $300 a month for my mortgage. You know, I inherited tenants, which were actually Section 8 tenants. And I'm not gonna lie, they were some of the best tenants I ever had. Were Section 8 tenants, and it was like everybody say the first of the month is smack. Every time, like you're getting paid, the government is paying you, but obviously you're held to a standard where you have to make sure that that house is kept in a certain condition to where people can live in. And for me, I do it ethically, bro, because I look at it as if I put myself in a renter's shoes. Like if I would act as if I wanted my landlord to act. You know, anything happen, as soon as something happen, I'm on it. Like I need to fix it because I understand, like from their perspective, if my landlord were to be just like, you know what I'm saying, like telling me.
Yeah, and that's deep. I mean, that go into a lot of business because it's like you're putting more so your impact over the income. Like, you know, you're making money, but you're not so much focused on the money. Because, I mean, a lot of people in the real estate industry, like, they got slumlords. Like, that's shit. I know, especially growing up in Milwaukee, like, living in duplexes and shit. My low end, like, my mom, we always had slumlords. Like, they never fixing stuff. Like, they never update nothing. We got stuff riding through, and then my mom, like, we'll just move. You know what I'm saying? So, it's like, it's good to take care of people, too, because that's going to... I mean, your tenant is your client that's buying from you for a whole year. You know what I'm saying? They're paying you every single month for however long you put them in that lease. So, like, the more happy you can make them, they might extend, they might refer somebody, you know, and then, yeah, for sure. No, that's fine. So, that was your first property. You had a duplex, you house hacked it, and then you still house hacking that, right?
Yeah.
And then, okay, and then I know in the meantime, you had did a flip.
Yeah, so I recently did that flip. For that one, man, it was a complete different journey, and it was a lot of new learning experiences for me for sure. And I'm blessed that I even had the opportunity to do that. First time raising money, first time going to hard money, first time, you know what I'm saying, being in and out of a property in 3 months. Like it was 3 months from in and out. You know what I'm saying? So it was a big learning journey for me, bro. And I for sure highly recommend like that process for me was unique because I've seen people doing it, but no amount of YouTube videos, no amount of books is gonna teach you what actually getting in and doing it is gonna teach you. Right. So like every single small step of the process, as far as finding a hard money lender, dealing with the brokers, communicating with them, all the small fees that I'm like adding up and making sure like all my numbers are penciling. Like I said earlier, you know what I'm saying, measure twice and cut once. Like I had to make sure that my numbers were how they needed to be. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy is the way that I found that property actually was I had cold called the owner of it. So I took like a wholesaler tactic, and because what I was trying to do was I was trying to buy as many duplexes in my area as I could. Yeah. Because I knew the market over there. I was living in it. So yeah, for real. And I was trying to buy as many duplexes as I could over there. And actually, when I had called him, because I went around and I seen it was being worked on. That's like a big key for me. Because when I look at properties, they need to be either distressed or they need to be underperforming. One of those two things are the main things why I'm gonna attack a property. You know what I'm saying? And if the property is paid off in full, so it's free and clear, if it's owner occupied, if there's nobody living in it, all those things are good cues for me to buy a property. And that property was all of those. One side was vacant, the other side was already rented out. It was distressed, it was underperforming, it was everything. It was everything I needed. And like I said, when I went back home and I'm actually doing my research looking on the county GIS, I figured out who the owner was, skip traced his number, and I actually went ahead and called him. And it was cool because he was like asking me who I am. And obviously, like, they don't trust you at first, man. You gotta think, like, he was an older gentleman. He was like 70. And he was like, I'm actually working on it right now, man. Come around and talk to me. And I was like, for me, that was the first property I flipped. First time cold calling somebody and actually, like, getting that deep engagement. So it was more exciting than nervous. And I can tell you that because it was what I wanted. Like, I'm like, okay, like, let's go. We got it. And I went around there, ended up building a relationship with him. And maybe, like, a month and a half later, I had the house.
Yeah, that's fine. So I'm a little hip just because I've been around you for a minute and stuff like that. But for the people that's watching, especially like the younger people and stuff like that might want to get into real estate, like a few terms you brought up, like for example, hard money loan or hard money lender. So a lot of people, that's another form of financing you can use for like flips and stuff like that. So kind of like, could you explain what that is so people could know?
Yeah, for sure. So hard money lenders are basically short-term lenders. So they looking at the deal, they're not looking at you. So for me, I had an LLC that was literally 6 months old, like no age, really no credit to it. All they did was a soft check on my credit. It still to this day isn't even on my report. They did a soft check on my personal credit and they gave me $230,000. Yeah. Like it was that easy. But the process with them is a little different because if you do have skin in the game, it's a little better if they see you own property, they see if you flip property. And they're going to ask you things like that. Like they bet you. Yeah, for real. Like they need to see collateral, but you have to have an LLC established in order to even go to a hard money lender because that's just how they run business, liability wise. But hard money basically, and the lender that I use is Kiabi Lending. Like Kiabi Lending are the people that I use. And only thing it was a bit back and forth for me. I have very good initiative, and if you have a broker that's not really good at communicating with you, it might seem like it's a little annoying, but the lending company themselves, it most likely isn't their fault if you have like communication issues. You know what I'm saying? It's probably the broker or the agent, whoever you're dealing with. I got very good initiative. Like I was like literally searching in the company. I figured out who was handling my loan, and like I got all my stuff moving like how I needed to move. But I highly recommend people go look into hard money loans, like I said, but you have to make sure, measure twice, cut once, where your things are in line because they looking at the deal more so that they looking at you. And whatever you tell them, realistically, they're gonna have people in the back end who are doing the research and like looking for the deal. But if you're wrong and they're wrong, then you just put yourself in a bad situation where, you know what I'm saying, it's not that good. And it's not gonna be that good of a track record with them, you know what I'm saying, and with other hard money lenders because they're realistically, they communicating with each other. But that's really the moral of the story, you know. And I raise capital for my down payment. So for sure, whenever you go get hard money, they're gonna want you to put money down. Like it's not gonna be like, unless you establish with them, then you can go in there free and clear. But most of the time, they're gonna want you to put money down. And I actually raised money. That was my first time doing that, you know.
So what is that normally looking like? Like it usually varies percentage wise, or what? Like
yeah, so it varies. It's usually higher percentages than like normal. Like mortgages, like 30-year mortgages, obviously, but because it's a short-term loan. So my loan was a 12-month loan. So when I went and got that, I think my interest rate was around like 11.5%. Like I said, I was in and out in 3 months. So you're only paying interest-only payments. Yeah. You're not paying any principal payments, realistically. You know what I'm saying? So I think my payment was a little over $1,000 a month for the property, but you want to be in and out. That's what I said. So if you measure twice, cut once, make sure all that stuff is good, then you already know how long it's gonna take for rehab. You know how much you're gonna spend on rehab, because realistically, you have any hiccups, that's just gonna be more interest you paying.
Yeah.
That's the longer you have in the loan, and it's, you know what I'm saying. You don't want to get to that point where you reach that deadline, and then they either take the property or whatever the case may be. That's gonna happen. But for sure, like I would say, the interest rate is higher than normal mortgages because obviously it's a short-term loan, and it's negotiable too. You can negotiate with them realistically, and it's the same thing when you raise capital from a person. So if I go to a person, that whatever numbers that we establish are the numbers that we establish. So for me, when I went to my private money lender, I told them 10% interest only payments for 12 months. You know what I'm saying? And he they understand that. They understand what it is. You pencil everything out, make sure that it's good. You actually get them called a promissory note in North Carolina, and that communication between you, an attorney, and the private money lender, whoever is lending you money, it's just literally another person. You can go ask your auntie for this. You can go ask your mom, your dad, and it could be a pool of people where they all put their money in and they all get the same type of benefit from
contracts and
yeah, man, it's all the same contracts. For me, it was just email trafficking amongst me, the attorney, and him. I established our terms of the loan, because it's a loan. Establish the terms of the loan, and they accept second position mortgage, which is basically what it is where they behind the hard money lender, because the hard money lender is going to take first position. You know, they always going to be priority, where if I default, they get paid first, and then whoever comes after that gets paid. Yeah. So they take second lien position, and then from there you define whatever it is that your terms are. You can say interest only payments. You can say 8% for 2 months, then goes to 10%. You can say whatever we want to be, just be super creative with it, for sure.
Yeah, that's crazy. So they make their money off the interest. They're basically like, hey, I'm gonna give you this $230. You got X amount of months to pay it back, and you pay me interest on the payment. So as long as everything go good on your end, they get their money back, and they just made whatever they made on the interest, which is crazy.
The faster, the better for you. You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy though. That really be showing you like the whole money and credit, all that is just like it's a whole big game. Like you borrow their money, you put it into something that you know can make money, you take your back and you pay them back, and you rinse and repeat. I feel like a lot of people, like, they be so scared to leverage like OPM or loans or credit because it sounds scary, right? But I feel like even with you, it was just about doing your due diligence, like doing your research. Like I remember when you was going through that, you was like reading plenty of real estate books. I know you was taking like a few mentorships and stuff like that, and just like even deep diving for free in YouTube and stuff like that. So once you do your due diligence and you know, that's why I tell even my clients with funding, like people are like, oh, what if I can't pay it back? It's like, well, if you worry about if you can't pay it back, then you shouldn't be taking it out.
You should be doing it.
Yeah, focus on educating yourself. Like I try to look for people that, okay, you already know something that this money can go into. You know, if you get 50,000 or 100,000, you can put it into this for marketing. Or if you can somehow use it in the real estate, I see people leverage that as well. Like using it as they down payment for their hard money loan or whatever the case may be. But like, figure out something that you know is gonna pay it back. Like obviously, you never can know for sure, right? That's why we take risks. But it's like taking a calculated risk, doing your due diligence, doing your research, and I mean, so you take the risk, it's gonna work out pretty well, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'd be lying to you if I said I wasn't nervous a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Like for sure, especially when you go into something like that, and it really just depends on your perspective of everything, like of everything, how you look at everything as far as risk. Because like you said, it's calculated risk. You have to understand what it is that you're going into, and if you don't feel good about it, then that means that you didn't do enough. You didn't do it. You didn't look at it enough. Yeah. You ain't pencil it enough, or something was off to a point where you feel uncomfortable. And like I said, I was nervous about it, but I was more excited. I was more excited than I was nervous to jump into like $230,000 in debt. You know, realistically, I was more excited than I was nervous. And for some people, they can't even fathom that. But it's just a matter of taking that execution point where like I understand where this gonna go. I understand the benefit from it. I understand why I'm doing this, and I know it works because these numbers, like it's proven. Like you can't, you know what I'm saying. Especially if you do your numbers right, you understand market research. You understand how much an agent gets paid. You understand like all these little small fees, how much it's gonna cost to have water on and electric on for these X amount of months. Like you understand all those things, you're not gonna go wrong. And it's to a point where once you create a cycle of it, you just rinse and repeat. You just repeat and repeat and repeat. And that's why like people who are big in it, they just get bigger because they understand that it's a system. Right. It's no tricks to it. It's none of that. It's a system. Only thing that changes is numbers. You know what I'm saying? So like even on the crib that I flipped, $230,000. The exact same numbers, the principles, the process that I went through is the exact same thing somebody that's flipping a $3 million home is gonna do. It's just different numbers.
Just different numbers. It's just bigger numbers. Nah, that's fine for sure. So I know we're gonna probably run short on time, so we could get through it. But as far as like anybody who is trying to get into real estate, whether they're just like a little bit curious or if they want to get into like rentals or like just what's your tip? What's your advice for somebody like that?
It's to self-educate.
For sure.
Because seek mentorship, seek all that stuff, but nobody is walking the same path that you're walking, and nobody is going to walk the same path that you're going to walk. So you should make it a priority to self-educate and go through those experiences yourself before you rely on somebody else. You know what I'm saying? For sure, speak to people that have been through the things that you're possibly going to go through. Obviously, yes, gain their wisdom, but you have to self-educate. For me, it was YouTube and books and learning from other people is a method of self-educating, but don't take them when they say do this. Like, learn from what they've gone through. When you went through this, when you had title issues, what did you do? What was the title issue, right? It's a difference in learning from somebody being like, you need to do this, from being like, when you went through this, what did you go through and what happened? You know what I'm saying? That's a form of educating, and it's important for them to do that, man, because like I said, they're going to go through their own routes, they're going to go through their own path, but the biggest thing that I can say, man, is don't have self-doubt. Don't doubt yourself. Like, keep going. You got to keep going. If you stop yourself in any way because you're nervous, you're afraid, or you're worried about something, then you lose all momentum. Once you lose a little bit of momentum, you lose all momentum. And it's a natural process that we go through, man, where when you go through these experiences, you're going to be nervous. You're going to experience every emotion, man. Like, it was days, I'm telling you right now, where I was up till, I'd get off work when I was in the Marine Corps, and I would work until 2, 3 a.m.
On the crib.
On the house. 2, 3 a.m. So like, you got to be willing to sacrifice stuff, man. It's just a matter of defining why you doing those things. Why are you willing to, take all that time away from things, man? And if the purpose is right, then you gonna figure out a way to make it work. Realistically, like if you saying you want to get into real estate or whatever, no matter what it is, your business, but you're lacking in it and you're not doing it, it's because you're doubting yourself or you worried about something that's realistically something that you're making up. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people deal with that, and it's like, if you, like for example, for you got that flip done so fast, like 3 months. You had 12 months. You could have just kind of fucked off, like, you know what I'm saying. You could have been like, I handled this when I handled it, but you would have dug yourself deeper in interest, and your profit margins would have been a lot lower, and then like it could have got to the point where you lost money. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like with you was just taking that initiative, like you said, like getting off your job at the Marine Corps and then still doing something for yourself. Like a lot of people, like they live in, I always talk about this in my YouTube videos. People live in this cycle where like they want to just work and relax. It's like they work from 9 to 5, and then from 5 to 9 they watching TV, or they just kind of just not really doing nothing for real, scrolling on social media, and like that's cool. I feel like that lifestyle is cool if you're comfortable, but like if you're truly not comfortable, like even if you're telling yourself you're comfortable but you're still stressing about bills, or if you're whatever the case may be, it's like you're not really comfortable yet. You know what I'm saying? So why not use that time, maximize off that time? Like, yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of people in your unit in the Marine Corps that when you would get off of work and go work on your crib to make your back end, they getting off work and getting on the game. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, we're going to sleep, or like, and like even healthy hobbies, going to the gym. Like we've been gym goers for a minute, and that's a good thing to have, but like I had to, when I wanted to really lock in on my business, I had to tell myself, like, bro, like it's gonna be certain days you just might have to skip the gym. Like if business comes up, not on some like, oh, I'm lazy, but like if business comes up, you might just have to skip that. So, and for us, that's something that we like, but that's a hobby. That's how people are with shopping, or whatever the case may be. So like, yeah, it's just important that you had that mindset shift to where you realize, like, oh damn, I really got locked in because I got bread on the flow. Because some people, they won't put the bread on the flow because they know that they can't lock in, or they feel like they can't. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, that's a strong mental thing for sure.
A lot of that stuff be self-inflicted, man. Like they don't understand that, like they putting their own fears on somebody, and they don't have confidence in themselves.
For sure.
Like for sure. But if you can realize that that's what the case is, then you can attack that always. And like, I take a lot of the principles and things that I learned from the Marine Corps, and I put that into my business, man. That's why I feel like honestly, like I move so fast. That's why I feel like I'm good at making decisions. I'm good at all that stuff, because I try to take the principles that I learned actually from the Marine Corps, and I'm honest about that. And I apply that to everything that I do outside, family, all that stuff, man. So define like what it is your purpose is. Define what it is and why you're doing certain things. And like I said, everything that trail after that is gonna be because of that purpose, because of that decision, because of that goal. And it's not going to be hard for you to do stuff because you understand why you're doing it. A lot of people just float and they don't know why. If strictly making a little bit of money is the only reason why you're doing this, man, then like You know what I'm saying? Like
It's
most
not
of the
gonna
time,
support the
it's
song.
not all the time. Unless money is the only thing that motivates you, then hey, by any means, make that what motivates you. Just like going to the gym, man. If I talk to some dudes, I'm like, why you wanna work out? Like I wanna look good for females. Okay, like that's what if that's what you want to do, make it your motivation, but continue with that because it's you gotta become something better than that though because it's not gonna last forever.
Yeah, it's not gonna last forever. No, for sure. Like even with the example you said, like dudes, I work out to look good and stuff, but it's like, okay, once you get the girl that you trying to look good for, how is you gonna maintain?
That's why dudes get fat.
That's why they get fat when they're in relationships. It's the same thing with business. It's like even with money, like I was having that conversation with you about like idolizing money and stuff. You know, like especially with me being Christian and all that, like trying to realize like okay, how to steer away from that because that's so normalized in our society. Like the music we listen to, like they idolizing money. The media, like look at some of the biggest influencers. The majority of the reason why they're famous is because they're glorifying or idolizing something with money, whether it's lifestyle, experiences, material stuff, and like I'm just getting to a point now where I want to start to make that shift and really just focus on like we talking about right now, like financial literacy, because it's like when you really understand what you're investing into and you really understand like you always talk about like setting generations up after you and stuff like that, and like when you understand the systems that goes into that becomes your purpose, and that is a lot easier to have longevity in that because you're realizing like okay, this ain't gonna just affect me, it's gonna affect everybody, like even whether you got kids or not. Even me, I don't got kids, but like I understand, like when I really think about this every day, like okay, yeah, I make a lot of money and stuff, that's a blessing, but like okay, like for what though? You know what I'm saying? Like we always say like we can't take it with us. I seen this one podcast and this dude was saying like, oh well, you know, I'm gonna enjoy it while I'm here, you know, which I believe is true. You know, live your best quality of life in abundance, but when it's time, but like that isn't gonna be enough to push you when the storms get hard. When stuff ain't always green, because we talking about both sides here. Like a lot of people, they shoot financial literacy podcasts or have conversations, and you know their whole goal is to just make it sound green and then give you a CTA at the end. Like, oh yeah, link in bio for the mentorship. But like,
that ain't it, man.
That's like what I want to change with this channel is like really telling y'all the truth, like the pros and the cons of both. Because it's a lot of ways you can make money out here. It's a lot of things you can do, but it's like, okay, what's the reality of both sides, and like, are you the type of person that can sustain what comes with that? Because just because something is possible, it still can be possible for you, but are you in a position mentally, like spiritually, physically, like, are you gonna be able to lock in and do what you need to do to actually achieve that, or is it gonna be another one of those things where you just kind of treat it like a little project and just kind of, you know what I'm saying? So
I think a lot of people get, when they have those like ideas on what they want to do stuff or whatever, they get a dopamine rush, man. Like when you have these good ideas, and you know you a lot of people go to people and they seek validation. Like they'll run to you like, oh man, I got this idea, blah blah blah, and it's just like they get that quick dopamine rush, especially if somebody like I don't even like telling that many people that what I do, because I feel like it'd be more so like an image type thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, because people will expect you to have certain things, be certain ways because of whatever it is that you are. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I just try to share who I am as a person. Like, I want people to understand, like, I'm a normal person. And you know, everything that I've done and I'm going to do, everybody can do. It's nothing
different route.
It's a different route, man. People just gotta understand that don't look at yourself and don't put yourself on a lower pedestal than anybody. You gotta understand, especially that's why I like that glorifying money stuff, where people will see somebody that's famous and they just like they glorify them. Like why they're a normal person, like they're doing something that you are capable of doing realistically, but you just gotta put yourself down that path. You know, like obviously your route will be different, but you put yourself down that path, you work hard, you understand, you lock in towards whatever it is that you're trying to choose, self-educate, all that stuff that we talk about, and you can get wherever it is that you want to get. You know what I'm saying? Don't glorify somebody because they have money. Don't glorify somebody because that person deep down could be an evil person.
For sure. Yeah, no, that's facts. I've seen that plenty of times. So just about providing value, and that's why I like even I want to kind of bounce back to what we was talking about when I was asking you like for tips. You know, I know you mentioned like YouTube and stuff, and even how I just said like we ain't really got no CTAs in here. We want to just drop games. So like, can you just drop like maybe one or two like sources you got? Like you say you read books, so like maybe one or two books you could recommend, and then also maybe like somebody on YouTube, like somebody that they could go to for free. Yeah,
I got you right now. Bigger Pockets needed to read whatever books Bigger Pockets offers with like rental properties, with Airbnb, with finance and anything like that. So with I know like his name is Robert Greene. Anything with Bigger Pockets is pretty good. They have a website actually which they have forums where it's literally like Facebook, but it's real estate investors. It's literally like Facebook, but it's just real estate investors. where you log in there, you go into the forums, and it'll be like specific categories, Airbnb, it'll be medium-term rentals, it'll be flips, it'll be commercial property, whatever the case may be. You go in there, and it's literally like a Facebook feed, like where people are literally just talking about certain things, talking about finance, and talking about anything that you could think of. So Bigger Pockets is a big one. Real Estate Rookies is another one that I highly recommend you do. And I'm telling you, any books related to them are good. Like I got a few books from them that how to manage rental properties, things like that, medium-term rentals, stuff like that. Educate, read those things, but more so I would watch a lot of YouTube videos because find genuine people. The thing I like about Bigger Pockets is that they find genuine people who are actually like, they've gone through the process. They'll catch people like in my phase, or they'll catch people like when they doing their first couple houses. They'll catch people when they 50 houses deep, you know, and they'll tell the truth. You know what I'm saying? Like it'll be a real conversation where it's like, what troubles did you go through with this property? What was your worst deal? What was your best deal? And like, what was it that made them that thing? But I highly recommend people to go up on YouTube. Don't just search up like, because if you just search real estate, like investing, you're gonna be so loose.
Yeah.
What I recommend people to do is figure out the type of real estate investing that you have. Figure out your tolerance, time-wise, money-wise, all that. How much risk you can handle. Because realistically, me, like, I was blessed to have money. I was blessed to have a bit of money saved up just from me just having financial literacy and understanding like the value of money, and you know what I'm saying?
For sure.
So a lot of people don't have that opportunity. So their risk tolerance is gonna be way lower than me. You know what I'm saying? So they have to define which step they want to go into, and then from there you educate on that step. So if you want to do wholesaling, if you want to do flips, if you want to do long-term, short-term, whatever the case may be, developing, go into that, educate yourself on that, and then network in that specific category. You know what I'm saying? Because then you're just going to build the opportunities that you have. You're going to build the availability that you have. You're going to see way more than you can ever see. You know what I'm saying? But I for sure can say outside of self-educating, bro, networking with people is going to be the best thing that you can do.
That's crucial. Networking is crucial. So yeah, going to public meetups, wherever you live at, real estate meetups, business network. Like before I did the social media stuff, that's what I was doing, getting in the field. I would go to just real estate events, and I'm like, let me just meet people who know people that will want my service, or even people that I could just learn from, or whatever the case may be. So no, for sure. And then now too, like we've been locking in with the LinkedIn. LinkedIn is crazy. Like I feel like people be sleep on that, but I'm starting to realize like the most like millionaires and billionaires in the world, they don't even be having Instagram, bro. They don't have nothing but LinkedIn. You know what I'm saying? Like
that just is for business.
It's for business, yeah, and it's a good platform. So if y'all looking to network, try LinkedIn, get off of Instagram for a little bit. There's nobody's popping there on LinkedIn. All they doing is showing you, you know, something they're doing in their business or somebody they partnering with. And I don't know, I just feel like it's a lot more motivational. Now I've been trying to spend a lot more of my screen time when I am on my phone. Like if I'm on Instagram or TikTok too long, I just get on LinkedIn real quick so I can like kind of rewire my brain. So, but nah, you for sure dropped a lot of games, especially about real estate. I appreciate that. I hope all y'all watch to the end of the video, because if you really like taking notes and absorbing the game, he dropped a lot. But we definitely gonna have to run another episode, man. Go ahead deeper on the military stuff for sure. Your story is definitely like inspiring. So, do you got anything else you want to leave for the people, or where can they find you at on socials?
Yeah, man, I'm in Draco.e on all my platforms. I have every platform, so like if you go like my Instagram, you'll find my link me, have everything in there, man. So
for sure,
reach out if you got any questions. I tell everybody that, man, like shoot me a DM if you're curious about something. One thing I can say for sure before I continue with that is value other people's time for sure, because I've spoke to people for hours, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and like now bullshit. So like whenever you ready, man, just send me a DM, send me whatever you want to do, and just ask me questions. Like I have no issue with helping people. I have no issue. I understand the circumstances that you be in. I understand like the questions people be having. So just shoot me a DM.
Yeah, nah, for sure. It's the same thing with me. Like a lot of people, they be like, oh yeah, I want to pick your brain, I want to tap it, and like I don't mind talking to people, but I need to see you serious. And like people, I feel like when you say that sentence, people always think you assume paying. It's not even paying. Like I just need to see you finna take action.
Yeah,
like if you doing research for real estate, cool, but do the research to do the real estate. Like don't just be asking questions and just like if you still in that phase where you just don't really know that this is what you want to do, then don't, like you said, value people's time. Use the things that is not gonna waste people's time. Google, ChatGPT, like YouTube, like go through that first, and then once you came to your decision, then you come to somebody like him and really get the answers you need so you can put it into motion. Because otherwise, you just wasting both of y'all time for real.
Everybody time.
Yeah, for sure. Well, nah, I appreciate that, bro. We definitely got to run another episode. So yeah, man, I appreciate y'all tapping in. This is gonna be the first episode that I'm gonna post on the Generational Shift podcast, and I think I solidified that name because I mean that's what we doing. We gonna shift the generation. You know what I'm saying? Get off the materialistic and the blog posts and all the bullshit. And really just tell people the raw, uncut truth. So yeah, I appreciate y'all tapping in. Y'all stay blessed.